Prepare to enter a world filled with bizarre environments, packed to the brim with bizarre, strange, slimy, gross, disgusting creatures that will drive you to the very brink of insanity. The only person that could endure a world such as this would be a true mad god. A Shudder original written and directed by Phil Tippett, who did Starship Troopers 2. You remember, the unnecessary Starship Troopers that somehow continued a franchise, and only the first Starship Troopers was any goddamn good. Speaking of the first Starship Troopers, Phil did the special effects for that, as well as Willow, RoboCop, Jurassic Park, as well as many other movies. He's a visual effects mastermind, and this is a labor of love 30 years in the making, apparently, according to the IMDb. And it's mainly stop-motion animation with a few human actors, and is a descent into absolute weirdness and madness. It's basically a visual novel, almost silent film-like. There isn't a lot of audible dialogue, but you see stuff told through great visuals. A major labor of love. I will say the one positive of this, the main positive, is the amount of detail and the amount of effort that was put into the stop motion animation. That's fucking hard to do, and it's really hard to do right. And they did that right. This was gross, strange, bizarre, wild. It was crazy as far as the descent into just what the fuck else are we going to see next. The plot, such as it is, since there's not a lot of audible dialogue, very, very little, we basically just have to judge with our eyes. There's a character identified as the assassin that descends on this corroded diving bell, and basically he is trying to find something. He has this map that is constantly falling apart. He has to find out what is going on here. Why is he doing this? What is his destination? Is his destination unknown? Here's a creature. Destination unknown. There's slimy creatures all around me. Okay, so I could never actually be the alternate singer for Rancid, but nevertheless. Then some weird shit happens, basically, that ends that, or that, takes that journey over to here. And then we see more bizarre stuff, like surgical scenes and very, very, blood-filled, blood-soaked massacre stuff that I certainly didn't mind. I'm like, okay, the creatures are mostly gross, but it's like, all right, blood, cool. We're going to see blood in a horror movie. That's awesome. And you can definitely tell that Phil put a lot of effort into this. Apparently, a lot of this stuff was done on, weekends over a period of time, and some students that wanted to get filmmaking experience helped out on this stuff. And you can tell, as far as, the visual aspect of it, they fucking nailed it. The thing is, though, this movie basically gets a metaphor for existence. Okay, we have to figure out how to be better than we were before, be so much better than we were yesterday. Please, please help me. Help me, help me. Okay, enough song references. Basically, you have to figure out how can we learn from our mistakes? Can we be better? Is there, what is the meaning of life? Is this real life? Is this just fantasy? It's hard to spell a C out of bottles of Fanta. Believe me, I've tried. So this movie basically is just visually pleasing. The problem is the story really isn't all that interesting. Yes, there's hidden meanings and stuff like that as far as the existence and everything, but unfortunately, this movie would have worked better as a short, and was really, half the movie, or about half the movie was released in 3 shorts that apparently got some critical acclaim. And that's great. The thing about this movie is, though, it didn't need to be a full-length feature. It was cool to look at. What else you got? Oh, you don't have anything else. Okay, you really don't have anything else. All right, it is what it is. That's fine. I guess we can just enjoy the visuals. And, okay, what else you got, movie? That's the big problem. The wheels kind of come off, and it just ends up kind of stumbling and just coming to a halt, where we're just looking at cool shit, and that's really it. Maybe there's something I just didn't get about this. It's not a bad movie by any stretch of the imagination. I encourage people to check it out. I could totally see some people loving it. I could see some people absolutely hating it. At least appreciate the effort and the stop motion animation and such. It is very, very visually pleasing. That's just it. So I am going to get into spoilers. It is on Shudder. But if you don't have Shudder, by the way, if you're a horror buff, please get Shudder. It's only a few bucks a month. It's worth it. It's absolutely worth it. They got a great library with originals and everything. And no, I'm not sponsored by Shudder. Would I mind being sponsored? Absolutely not. But anyway, I am going to get into spoilers. So 3, 2, 1, and spoilers. Okay, so this assassin descends down. He goes through all this stuff. His map keeps falling apart. He keeps seeing weird creatures and like, soldiers, like cloth like soldiers, string like soldiers, almost melted army men, getting flattened and everything because of stop motion stuff. And it's a weird, mad world. I don't know who built all this stuff. I have no goddamn idea. There's trains, guns, and melted man automobiles. And then at one point, the assassin gets taken by this weird creature, and then he's experimented on this weird dollhouse-like thing. This really takes guts in the sense that the surgeons take all his guts. And then there's a baby thing that gets found in him, which I guess is a metaphor for, well, his life didn't work, but he breathed new life into this world, so let's see what we can do with that. And the one human that we see in this prominently, even though we don't see him all that much, is The Last Man, played by Alex Cox, who's a great character actor. You've seen him in a lot of stuff. And then we get another assassin who learns from his mistakes, takes a motorcycle and goes along in a new world. And then, and basically, I believe this Last Man is just sending these, creatures, these little stop motion creatures down to see what the hell, can we explore this world? I'm up high, or I'm doing all this stuff and everything. Let's figure out what life is. And then he heads towards this, area where some explosions are happening, and suddenly a war breaks out, tanks and everything, and the Jeep has a lot of gas in it, this Jeep that he ends up driving. He somehow manages to get through all these explosions without dying, and no, you're supposed to walk up, not drive down the Tower of Babel. Well, I screwed that one up. And then we have a wraith with that baby that was born from that guy's previous corpse, I guess. It's a weird wraith with claws and stuff like that. Not the wraith from Gauntlet Dark Legacy. And then there's this weird troll. This troll that feeds grubs to these weird mushroom-like creatures. And a spider comes in and takes the baby. A lot of baby taking in this movie. Maybe it's that life is fleeting. Life is fleeting, kids. Remember that. And then they squish the baby, and then they turn it into seemingly something silver-like, and then they send it. It's like in the beginning of 2001 when the ape people saw, oh yes, the obelisk, yes, we're gonna do this, and then weird shit's gonna happen. This is not 2001. 2001 was good. Then we go into space, and then we're done. We are seemingly done. Okay, this other world gets flattened after they go into space, and then another world gets flattened, and then we're back to the weird and Last Man, and then we go to break, or we go to the credits. The movie's just very bizarre and very visually weird, but the visuals are great. Now, some of them are gross just for the sake of it, but the effort that was put in there, had this movie actually had any kind of good story, as the fireworks ring out, had this movie had any kind of, good story, or really any story, that you wouldn't have needed to, just be eagle-eyed and, look at everything and, I wonder what's going on. It was visually impressive, but that's it. I would have given it an A had there actually been more to it than just the visuals, but I'm going to give it a C+, because the visuals are impressive. Had the visuals not been that good, I would have given this an F. So in all honesty, this movie actually is up 2 grades because the visuals are so goddamn good. Visuals get an A+, by the way. The movie overall gets a C+. So agree, disagree, what I said, like, share, subscribe, Twitter handle in the description. I'm John Wetland. I'll see you soon.